Yo guys, what's going on? I am George and this is You Wanna Watch. Welcome back to the shop and welcome back to another project. Today we're going to be cleaning up a little Columbian Vise. It's just going to be a clean and go. I say we jump right into it. Let's go. Alrighty guys, let's get a good quick look at this. This is the Columbian 6.3.5. This is the red arrow. Kind of cool. I just want to clean this up. Almost all the original paint is on there. We will clean up the jaws, the little lockdown handle, of course the Acme screw and slide. I want to get those down to bare metal, and the rest of it we're just going to leave as is. We'll probably wax it up and list this thing on Marketplace and get it out of here. So I say we jump right into it. Let's start breaking it down. Oop, wrong way. Right here. Oh my goodness. Well, that's on there. All right, we're gonna have to throw this in the vise. There we go. Okay, so we got us a split ring on here. These are notoriously a pain in the butt for me. Let's see what we can do. Try and split this ring a little more. So I got this rolled, but I can't fully. There we go. Jeez, what a pain in the butt. All right, well, we got this all broken down. It wouldn't have taken long if it wasn't for that right there. We can bend that back into shape, get it right back on there to hold the Acme screw. I'm gonna spray some degreaser on this stuff and at least get it cleaned up a little bit before we start wire wheeling. Just gonna use some gum cutter. I just don't want to get a bunch of grease and nasty all in my wire wheel. Alright, this little T-handle, this has got to be straightened out. There's a couple of bends in there. I am going to throw this on the 1x30. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that or not, but there's a lot of chatter on there. It's all rough around the edges. So we're going to clean this up. Alrighty guys, well we're just going to soak this right in the hot soapy water. This is just Dawn dish soap. I went inside to try and find some degreaser and, well, like normal, I'm out of everything, so that will just have to work. I'm going to let that soak for about a half hour. Try and break up all the nasties that are on there. Alright, so it is about a half hour of soaking. I think this will be good enough. Like I said, I want to try and keep that original red paint job on there because it is in really good shape. Nice. That's pretty clean. I still got to work on the slide, and I still got to work on the gels. But all in all, this is coming out pretty good. Alright, well they are all degreased and cleaned up. Like I said, look how much of that original red paint is still on there. That is pretty cool. I don't want to do anything to mess with that. We are going to clean up the anvil a little bit. Top of the jawls themselves. The slide, I want to get the paint off the slide. Just a little bit of touch-up work with the wire wheel. And we'll see what we're going to do for a finish on this. So let's take this to the wire wheel. Alright guys, well what I decided to do, since the paint is so good on this, is to just wax it over. I'm going to use Johnson's paste wax. If you don't have Johnson's, don't sweat it. You can always use a Minwax finishing paste. Pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to put a nice layer of Johnson's on this, and I want to get a good buff on it. Like I said, I want to try and protect the paint as much as possible. Nice. Alright. We're going to let that tack up a little bit. I don't think it's going to tack up much because it is so hot in here. But we'll let the fan blow on it a little while. And hopefully it tacks up a little bit. We'll wind up doing this 3, 4, maybe even 5 times. I want to get a real nice, good layer of wax on there. So I'm not going to bore you with all the layers. I'll show you what I just showed you putting it on. I'll show you one time taking it off, and then we'll do it again. And, you know, just keep doing it until I feel like I got a good coat. So. Alright, well it's tacked up a little bit. We're going to give it a good hand buff in here. See what she's looking like. I know one coat's not going to be enough, but we'll get a couple of coats on here. And I do expect some red transfer. Yeah, a little tiny bit. This paint's pretty old, so I kind of figured it would do that. That's what we're looking like so far. See how it's got a nice little sheen on there? We're going to have to do a lot better than that, though. Whew. All right. Well, I feel horrible for whoever's going to try and take that off again. It's on there. Ugh. Just want to do a little trace of oil on the screw. Because everything else is waxed. All right, let me clean up a little bit. All right, well, we didn't do anything to this other than clean it, basically. We cleaned this, we waxed it with Johnson's. Like I said, you don't need Johnson's. You can use any type of finishing paste. And the reason why we did that was because there was so much of the original paint left. Look at that, man. This thing is a true survivor. Jaw's in fairly good shape. The anvil's in good shape. Mechanically, it's in really good shape. I'm quite happy with this one. I think somebody else will be happy with this as well. Especially it being an original paint job, so. That's it for this one. Alrighty guys, well we are all done with the Columbian 6.3.5 Red Arrow. As you guys saw in the video, we just did a cleanup on there. We protected the Survivor paint job with some Johnson's paste wax, and I am really happy with this one. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like always, stay safe, be safe. We'll see you next week with another. Bye.